Hey guys, it's me, Vinny Lospinuso. I'm back with a new vlog for you. It's not NFL or sports related, but I want to give another vlog based on, the best movie of the year, Morbius. And when I say best, I mean easily one of the worst. This movie, like I said in my review for it, it was trash. I gave it a 2 out of 10 in the review. My main issues were the fact that the pacing was bad, the editing was bad, the acting wasn't great, the writing was all over the place, the story was generic, the CGI was bad. But after doing that review, more and more memes kept persisting for this movie. And these were not like tiny memes. Like, this is easily the biggest meme of the year. People are still going on about taglines that were never in the movie, like Morbius sweep or it's Morbin time. That stuff was never in the movie, and Morbius did not sweep the box office. If anything, it probably lost a couple dollars or maybe just barely broke even. It's a movie that definitely lost Sony lots. It was supposed to come out on July 10th of 2020, but due to the pandemic and a whole bunch of other issues, it got pushed back all the way to April 1st, 2022. So 21 months, like nearly 21 months after it was supposed to come out, Morbius finally gets released. So Venom Let There Be Carnage and Spider-Man No Way Home were supposed to come out after this movie, but because of delays and everything and also issues behind the scenes, Morbius got pushed back all the way to, April 2022. April 1st, April Fool's Day, I know, very fitting considering all the jokes surrounding this movie. But, you know, ever since this movie came out, we've seen so many memes spout from it, like Morbin, it's Morbin time, Morbius sweep, the scene of the villain Milo dancing to XA, I think that's the name of the song. All these other memes, like that just sprouted out, or like mashups of the poster where it's like some other character in the vampire face of Morbius. They're funny. Like, they're really, really funny memes, and they have a really good longevity. I didn't think, I would say it's probably the most talked about like movie, like for memes, like, Chip and Dale was also discussed and like Turning Red, but it did not have the same staying power as Morbius. Morbius is really going on still, and people have, for those that don't know, people have also been watching Morbius on Twitch on repeat over and over and over and over again consecutively for several weeks, for probably a week or two now. And yeah, Sony may have been taking them down here and there, but even then, people still find a way to do it, and they find a workaround to get it done. And people have been, memeing and even shit posting the comments like the is about to morb or it's morbin time, all these other funny expressions, just mocking and laughing at the movie. It reminds me a lot of like how The Room is viewed, where people comment and like talk shit about it. So maybe Morbius is the new new Room. Maybe Morbius is the new The Room. I wonder what Tommy Wiseau would say about Morbius. I wonder what he'd say about Jared Leto. Leto actually got in on the joke too by saying that, oh, there's a Morbius 2 script and Bartholomew Cubbins is writing it. And in case you don't know, though, that's not a real person. That's just the name of a character from an old Dr. Seuss book, Bartholomew Cubbins, and like, what was it, the 500 Hats or something like that? The 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins or something like that. But why is Morbius such a big meme? How come this movie that barely made its money back in theaters, why is this the biggest meme of the year? And I think there's several reasons behind it. First off, you got to look at the character itself. Who is Morbius? Well, Morbius is a rather C-list character when it comes to Spider-Man villains. Like, he's an anti-hero, and not a lot of people know who he was. And they're making a movie about him. That alone is absurd. That alone is going to get a little bit of interest, but more so ironic interest, if anything. Jared Leto being Morbius is also a big factor in it. I mean, he did not do well as the Joker in Suicide Squad, though I do think a better script probably would have helped him out. And just with all the controversy that surround him with potentially grooming people or leading a cult, that also brings a lot of interest. Not only that, but how he's a bit of a head case behind the scenes. Like, apparently during the filming of Morbius, he faked having on crutches to the fact that he had to agree to be in a wheelchair to be wheeled out just to take a piss. That's just take a little pee break. He had to agree to use a wheelchair. Like, he is such a diva. I understand he's not trying to get into his role, but do you really need to go that far to get into your role? Like, seriously, you need to find a way to break out of that when the cameras are off. But he hasn't. I think also the build up to the movie, with how all the trailers have been, how they look kind of bad and kind of schlocky, is another big factor. I think also with Morbius, a lot of people were wondering what universe this was. It was less interest in the movie itself and more so what this movie's connected to. And I think even more got on it after the fact that Daniel Espinosa, the director, confirmed and basically spoiled the entire movie over a week before the movie came out. And the post-credit scenes were awful too. It felt very hand-fisted and felt very corporate run. The fact of the matter is, like, Matt Smith seemed to be very confused with what he was doing, according to interviews. Apparently, all the other cast members were also confused. I think also there's the absurdity of Morbius having his own movie in the first place is also one to pose questions. And the fact that it reminds, a lot of people have mentioned this, it reminds me of those comic book movies that were made in the 2000s. Like late 90s, early 2000s comic book movies, like a Batman and Robin, a Steel, Elektra, Daredevil, like those really schlocky, not really good, bad movies that would come out, and they weren't the movies that are changing the industry that they are now. No, they were like schlocky popcorn flicks. And Morbius is definitely one of those in the same category as like an Elektra or a Batman and Robin. And the fact that it is just bad. It's just a really bad movie. Though it is very fun and enjoyable with friends, especially if you keep commenting on it, which I have on Twitch numerous times, dozens of times actually. I haven't really seen the movie from start to finish since I saw it in theaters, but I have seen lots of clips and pieces and basically every single part of the movie many times over, to the fact that I probably would say at least I've seen a little bit of Morbius around like maybe like 50, 60 times. I know that seems like a lot, but it's always fun to comment on the memes and everything. So that's what I've been doing here. And no, he does not say it's Morbin time in the movie itself. That's just a meme that people posted just to say, just making fun of it. In fact, Morbius has gotten like people saying that the movie would sold 1 trillion tickets at the box office and has made over a more $1 billion. Obviously, there's only like not there's barely almost 8 billion people on this planet as is. There's no way in hell that people would be able to actually pay over 1 trillion tickets to Morbius. If that's the case, you'd probably have a GD. It would probably be around half the size of the U.S.'s GDP. So that wouldn't happen. That's why it's funny, because Morbius is a movie that people saw being a disaster from day one. So just saying that, it's going to sweep, it's going to sell 1 trillion tickets, it's just funny. It's just absolutely funny. And a lot of the positive reviews from the audience scores are just memes. If you were to take out a lot of them, you'd probably have a movie that's got like a 35% audience score at the very most. Maybe 40, but at the very most, I would say the average is like 30, 35%. Most people did not like this movie. Most people did not go to see this movie. This is a movie that had way too many theaters. Like, compared to Sonic 2 that released the week after, Morbius actually showed up in more theaters. And actually had an IMAX screening around here, which is pretty funny, actually. And it's week 1 and week 2 with Sonic 2 coming in. Morbius had a 74% drop. Which is the second lowest in the history of a comic book movie. The only one that ever did worse than that was Steel in 1997, and that was a movie that had way less buzz and also way less, box office returns in the first place. I think they made like $5 million at the very most, or something like that. The one with Shaquille O'Neal. And it's a different time. Back then, comic book movies were more niche. Now they're very mainstream. And losing 74% from 1 week to the next is astonishing to me. And it just tells you just the low quality of that movie. Like the Fantastic Four reboot lost a lot, and the Dark Phoenix lost a lot, but not even close to as much as the drop off from Morbius. I think Sonic 2 had a big impact on that, but I don't think it was the only impact. I think it was also the very negative word of mouth for Morbius, and just the fact that people have been waiting so many months for this movie is a big reason why it turned all others away. That being said, though, people still were tuning into Morbius, just not in the way that Sony expected. All the attention for the movie itself was taken away, instead with all the ironic hype surrounding it in the way of memes, shit posts, and a whole bunch of other they still Morbius to this day, 2 months after release, you're still seeing its Morbin time. When it came out on VOD, on video on demand, and when it came out on digital, people were still streaming it nonstop just as a joke because the movie's awful. And who would have thought? I don't think Venom never did this. In fact, it got so big that Sony this weekend decided, this is rare, but because of all the hype surrounding this movie, we're going to release it in 1,000 theaters again and see what happens. It turned out to even be a bigger bomb than the first time, as on Friday it only made $85,000 in 1,000 screens. So each theater made at least at most $82, and you had at most 6 people. And I would not be shocked if the majority of the theaters that went and saw it were empty, and you had 1 or 2 people in it, just like before. Fantastic Beasts 3 was in less theaters by that point than Morbius, and made more money, slightly more. It only made $100,000, but Morbius was in more theaters, significantly more theaters, and it only made $85,000. That's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. The movie is really bad. But if there's any concern that anyone has about there being a Morbius 2, I personally can't see it, unless they really lean into the memes. But if that's the case, couldn't that turn people away from it? The fact that, are they going to make the movie better? Are they going to make it worse? Are they going to make it more ironic? They did say they wanted to make a Morbius 2 and 3 a couple months before the movie came out. Is that still in the cards? Or are they gonna still use Morbius, but only in crossover appearances with Venom and the MCU's Vulture or Kraven or El Muerto now? It's just pathetic. It's absolutely insane to think that a movie would be memed on this much. I don't even think people that made those memes thought it would have that much legs. People making fake edits with him being in Multiverse of Madness, or him fighting Venom and him saying it's Morbin time, or him fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi and dying. None of that stuff's actually in the movie. It's just for jokes. And they're done intentionally bad to make it look better, I guess you can say. Look more superficial. Make it look like a fake leak. Sony needs to get their act together. The Kraven the Hunter movie is going to come out in January, and I'm pretty sure that's not going to be good. The Madam Web movie they're going to have is going to come out in June, and that has the same writers as Morbius. And Morbius' screenwriting was awful. Do you expect me to think that Madam Web's is going to be any better? And the cherry on top of this Sunday is an El Muerto movie, a character that only appeared in 2 comics in 2006 and was never seen from again. But they have Bad Bunny there to star as him. Also come out the same weekend a year later after Kraven. Maybe they're better than Morbius. I don't know. Apparently, according to Forbes, Andrew Garfield allegedly said no to appearing in that universe, being their Spider-Man. So if it's not going to be Andrew Garfield, it's not going to be Tobey Maguire, if it's not going to be Tom Holland, who's going to be? Are they going to make Silk their version of Spider-Man? Are they going to make Spider-Woman? Are they going to use Miles Morales? Are they just going to get another guy as Peter Parker? We saw the sets of Morbius that Peter Parker does in that universe as a writer for the Daily Bugle. So what do they want to do there? But that matter is, it doesn't really matter what Sony's going to do, because both Venom movies are seen as rather average at best, and Morbius is seen as an absolute dumpster fire. So do people really expect Kraven to be that good? No. If anything, they're probably going to say very similar memes that they did for Morbius and Venom, saying it's going to reach 1 trillion tickets, or how it's the best movie ever. And they're probably going to have a villain for Kraven that's just like Riot and Carnage and Milo, just another version of the main character. So they're going to create Hunger or something Hungry or something like that, like Hungry the Searcher. I don't know. It's a mess. I don't know what they're gonna do, but the fact of the matter is the memes are still going strong, even with Jared Leto. The memes aren't dead. They're still very, very large. In fact, it's been the biggest meme of April, of May, and might even be for June as well. Absolutely incredible. absolutely incredible. I've never seen something like this. I've never seen a movie like this carried by memes to this level, just because it's not good, but all the memes say it, but it's just so funny. And, because of all this, I would love to see a Morbius too. Is the movie good? No. But because of all the memes, I think that would be the ultimate win for us. That being said, Sony really didn't read the room properly, because a big reason why the memes slapped so hard was because people were not seeing Morbius. They were seen as a joke, and if they were seeing Morbius, they were seeing it for free on Twitch. I think Morbius could actually do better as a movie that's on streaming, like on Netflix or something. Because I don't think the regular theater going public is really going to pay money to go see Morbius. I think if you kept it on streaming, you would have way more of an influx of people going to see it. Because we know that it did pretty well in terms of digital. So could they do it as a streaming movie? I think financially that is the best decision for them. But will they actually do it? I don't know. I think it barely made back its money. That's not factoring in marketing or whatnot. But, if they really want to hop on the meme, if they truly want to embrace the meme, all the memes that all of us have been saying for this masterpiece of cinema that is Morbius, I'd say go right ahead. I mean, Sony's worth billions of dollars. I think they could afford to lose some money. And I think, with all the memes and everything, yeah, I think a Morbius 2 will probably be bad, but at least people will go see it, but not in theaters. It would have to be a streaming exclusive movie. But at the same time, I think it would be for the best. So what do you guys think of the Morbius memes? Do you think they're funny? Do you think they've run their course? Or were you never a big fan? What did you think of the Morbius, the movie itself? Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? Were you more mixed on it? Please let me know in the comments below. And as always, please subscribe to Dang62 Media if you haven't already. Like this video. And I'll see you guys all next time. Peace out.